subject that I have been charged with the duty to address this evening is Zimbabwe. Give me it again, sis. Okay, it says something about the lies. The lie them I tell, and what them not tell me. I prefer that one than what the press did not say. Zimbabwe, the lie them I tell, and what them never tell me. Are we ready for this message, brothers and sisters? Tonight, we all know we've been hearing about Zimbabwe on the news. Yeah. In fact, coverage on Zimbabwe has been unrelenting for the past decade or so. Right. Now, since this is a Kwanzaa celebration, brothers and sisters, I want to take a slightly different approach to this message. We've all been listening to the news, we've all been hearing what BBC and Sky News and CNN and Channel 4 and ITV and the Daily Telegraph and the Sunday Times, the Mirror and the Sun newspaper. There's something about white supremacy that whereby as Mama Marimba Annie, our spiritual mother and cultural scientist, tells us that every aspect of white supremacy works in the interest of white supremacy. Right. So that if one aspect of white supremacy decides to demonize any African or African movement, African organization, it seems that all organs of white supremacy falls in line. Right. I wish in that sense we were like white supremacy, right, as African people. Not in the sense of the vicious, wicked, evil nature of white supremacy, but in its ability to organize and synchronize around its own agenda, right, in the service of white supremacy. Is everybody with me so far? Now, for the last 10 years, we've been hearing a lot about Zimbabwe in the white supremacist media. Can brothers and sisters share with me some of the things you've heard about Zimbabwe, and in particular about the president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. Tyrant. He's starving his people. Give them cholera. He's a dictator. Sorry? Evil dictator. Evil dictator. Anything else? Worse than Hitler. Worse than Hitler. Imagine that. Worse than Hitler, you know, brothers and sisters.
It needs to be toppled.
Needs to be toppled. Regime change. Regime change. We need regime change. He's corrupt.
He'll kill off the white people then.
He'll kill off white people. Huh? He must go. Anything else? Now, how many of us in this room believe that Robert Mugabe is a tyrant, a dictator, an evil man, a demon? How many of us in this room believe that? Is that your hand up there, brother? No. Careful how you move now, brothers and sisters. It's a serious time. Very sensitive moment. How many of us believe Papa Robert Mugabe should go? Alright? I don't see any hands up. Eh? You believe him should go. Tell me why. Because the son says so. One might say, Britain says so. One might say, white people say so. Let's take, for instance, first and foremost, Robert Mugabe is a tyrant. Let's take that one. I think that's a very interesting one. Robert Mugabe is a tyrant. Therefore, Britain and America is against Robert Mugabe because he is a tyrant. There's something not right about that. No. If we know our history, and if we study the history of Africa, particularly since so-called independence.
Right. Come on.
We got some tyrants in Africa.
Yeah, come on.
But my study of history tells me that every single tyrant that we've had in Africa have been backed by Britain and America. Would you agree with me on that? So if Robert Mugabe was a tyrant, if he was a dictator, like Mobutu, like Bokassa, like Conte, like some of the more later ones, Museveni in Uganda, Conte, I believe he died recently, from Guinea. These are all tyrants that were raised up, supported, sponsored, and sustained by the global white supremacist forces, otherwise known as Europe or America, otherwise known as Britain, France, Germany, Belgium, and the rest of the European countries have all these, in fact, prior to the Mobutus and the Bokassas of the 60s, into the 70s, into the 80s, brothers and sisters. We had African leaders of the caliber of Sachefa Kwame Nkrumah, of Patrice Lumumba, of Sekou Touré. These were leaders that were chosen by the people who were born out of a revolutionary movement, populist revolutionary movement, who rose up as the leaders, as the presidents of our African nations, in Ghana and the Congo and Guinea. And how were they removed? Coup d'etat. Who sponsored these coups? America, Britain, France, Belgium, to topple these populist leaders who were selected by our people, revolutionary leaders, and who put in their places tyrants, dictators, mass murderers, working on behalf of America and Britain. So that makes no sense. All tyrants in Africa are sponsored and controlled and installed and protected and defended by the machinery of American imperialism, British imperialism, French imperialism. Robert Mugabe cannot then be a tyrant or a dictator, otherwise you would love him and you would back him. That's what history tells me.